Arsenal and West Ham United agree on £100 million transfer fee for Declan Rice. Broken by Jacob Steinberg, the deal looks to be coming to a conclusion. As we reported earlier on today on the Top Six show, the German press said it was a done deal. Fabrizio said it was match point to Arsenal. Is this now it? Are Arsenal about to sign one of the biggest players, make one of the biggest signings of the summer transfer window? I'm going to be joined now live with Jessica Black to delve into this story in much more detail. Hit the like button, subscribe. Here we go. Welcome back, one and all. Welcome back, Jessica, to the show. Big breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Arsenal, unless you want to read it out here, Arsenal are closing in on a £100 million deal for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. The official bid is yet to be submitted, but we'll tell you about the significance of that in a moment. But the clubs are set to agree the transfer fee. As we all know, the official bid rarely goes in until all personal terms are agreed and the clubs have agreed unofficially on what the fee will be. Then a bid goes in. Stereotypically, that is how these things work. But Jess, what's your immediate reaction to hearing that this deal is almost concluded so very early on in this transfer window?
Relief. Definitely relief. I mean, you know how it is. You're waiting for the big transfer to go over the line so that you can start your transfer window out well. So it just feels like relief that at least things are moving in a positive direction. I always kind of felt like we would get him, but there was always that thing in the back of my mind, like, are we gonna mess it up? Are we gonna fumble? Like, are we not gonna get it done quick enough? Things like that. So, yeah, I'm ecstatic. Like, I'm very happy because if we can get this over the line, then that means that the big one is done. We look serious. I know there's tons of questions on whether or not Arsenal are serious or not, but I think spending over £100 million on Declan Rice shows that Arsenal are ready to do business. Don't you?
I agree. It was funny, actually. Me and Lee Gunner are organizing our show for tomorrow. And he said to
Mm.
me, he basically said, didn't I tell you that there'd be no bid from
Mm.
Arsenal within a week for Declan Rice? And like I said before on another show, yes, the official bid may not have gone in tonight. That may come in the next few days. But the old official bid, unofficial bid, you know me long enough and well enough that I think that's all a load of nonsense. Unofficial bids are official bids. They're just ways of clubs protecting themselves should deals not go through. You've been talking to West Ham since that final. That is when they said they would negotiate. Personal terms have been agreed upon for a long time. It looks like you've sought the price at now £100 million, which is a lot of money, but it's for the number one target, one of the best midfielders in European football. It's going to bolster Arsenal up massively. And if you get this deal done now, on the 12th of June, 11th, 13th, 14th of June, with the entire summer remaining, full preseason under Declan Rice, that Arsenal are not only going to be a force to be reckoned with again next year, you're definitely going to be in that title race. There's no doubt about it. What a signing. I'm not going to pull back and act, bitter and jealous because I want him at Man United. And I'm kind of
No, guys, let me tell you, every single day, it's like he's talking about Rice. Like, even before we were ever linked to him, Terry loved Rice. Like, he did. So he loves him, and it's going to feel good every single day, hopefully being able to say he's an Arsenal player and not a Man United player. Because I didn't even rate him. Remember when I didn't rate him? Do you remember that?
Yes, I listen. A lot of people, a lot of Arsenal fans that I know didn't rate him. A lot of football fans didn't. I've been on about this guy for a long time. I'm
Yeah.
genuinely, to my core, gutted that Arsenal were going to get him because he's serious. He's a serious player, and I think that once he's being managed by a better coach in terms of and I'm talking contemporary sense of the word, contemporary modern day football, then David Moyes, you're going to see an even better individual come through here. And he isn't just a very good player. This is the thing about it as well. He's also a fantastic leader. This guy, I'm going to say it now. He's going to be the Arsenal. He'll be your captain in 2 to 3 years' time. I don't care how good Odegaard is. This man's a better leader. He will be
I
the
don't like you talking
captain.
about my captain like that.
He'll be the captain of your football club. He is legitimately that good, and I'm upset and I'm frustrated. Now, a lot of people in the comments are saying, "What is the source?" The source is Jacob Steinberg. Now, to give you an example of how good Jacob Steinberg is, Fabrizio uses him as a reference point. So if you're someone who trusts Fabrizio, trust Jacob Steinberg. Very well connected, very credible journalist. He's been on dozens of streams with Fabrizio in the past, on Twitch and things like that. So very, very, I would say a hot sauce. This isn't mild mayo. This isn't some weak home brand sauce. This is a hot sauce. Legitimately 110%. But viewers, we want your thoughts. We want your feelings. I want to know what your opinions are on this. Declan Rice, £100 million deal agreed between the clubs. The official bid is yet to come in. More on that when it breaks. We know personal terms are already agreed as well. So we want to hear from you regarding this deal. This here from Ezra says, get Caicedo and I will start to believe. Is that what's after this for you? Do you then have to go for somebody else like a Caicedo?
Oh yeah, nothing is done. Like it's a good starting point. Get your priority target over the line, but don't get it twisted. Arsenal need like 2 midfielders and of like a good quality. So yeah, like I would expect Arsenal to continue on from here. Like Rice is not enough. He's great, but he's not enough.
This here says, yeah, need Caicedo. Big up Terry and Jess. Arsenal must make quarterfinals of the Champions League minimum if you spend this summer. No excuses. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
I agree. I'm not gonna sit here.
We're just looking for a more in-depth answer from you as opposed to yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you go through the comments and you're like, you want to keep going, So, but no, I think Arsenal, maybe we've been accused of having too low of expectations. Next season, I think a lot of Arsenal fans, including me, are going to feel like we need to be getting at least to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, take all the cups very serious, silverware, maintain that Champions League spot, title race. So yeah, like Rice is not enough to do that. But if we do spend the money, those are my expectations for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A few people are asking for some more information. So here's some more from The Guardian on this deal. It says Arsenal were close to agreeing a fee with West Ham for Declan Rice and are expected to pay more than £100 million for the midfielder. A bid is yet to be submitted, but talks between the clubs are progressing smoothly, and there is confidence that the deal will be finalized soon. So it will complete soon. The article also goes on to say, and I want to read this out, that Arsenal are also considering a bid for Moises Caicedo, who is wanted by Chelsea, and they are trying to sign Manchester City's Ilkay Gundogan on a free transfer. So it appears that Arsenal are trying to get Caicedo done, Rice done, and get Ilkay Gundogan. If you were able to pull off those 3 signings, the confidence of not just challenging City again, but maybe toppling them next year, surely that's going to increase amongst yourself and the Arsenal fan base.
Yeah, one of our biggest Achilles heel has been the midfield. Like as good as Xhaka and Partey are, like there's definitely a ceiling to them. And we saw that this season. Like that's as good as it's going to get with those two. So the midfield definitely needs some reconstruction for sure. And so, yeah, if we were to bring in Caicedo, Rice, and Gundogan, first of all, like I would need to maybe go to the hospital because I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like sick. Like there's just no way. I'd be in dreamland. There's just no way. But even if it's not Gundogan, because I don't think it will be, but if we were to bring in 3 midfielders of that quality, yeah, like I'd be excited for next season, thinking we could do something for sure.
Yeah, listen, I think Arsenal can. If you were to bring in that kind of 3, maybe you're looking at Castagna. You sort of improve the fullback areas a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more firepower up front. You're going to be massive contenders, but on top of that, that would be 3 top-class midfielders for what a combined total of about 170 million, because one of them's on a free transfer. That is a lot of money, but it's also very good business at exactly the same time. And I feel that, yeah, Arsenal, it would be such a response. And I think for me, I'm always someone that's been, I wouldn't say skeptical of Arsenal, but I've always sort of, until you start acting like a big club, until you start putting down those big money offers, until you start doing that, yes, you're a big club by name, but you're never going to be able to compete with the Man Uniteds and I use them because you were competing against us a decade or so ago. The Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Cities, the teams in the last 19 years that have been winning those league titles. You're never going to be able to compete with them until you started to behave like them. It's a simple, and me and you have had this conversation many, many times before. All these gooners that have in the past sort of celebrated, great net spend, but we've only got the 6th highest wage bill. Bun that. To quote KJ, bun that. It's a load of nonsense. Spend the money on the right people and not go for broke, but go and try and win the title. Not sort of we had a good attempt, but we spent less than you. That's not a trophy.
Well, people talk about Stan Kroenke all the time, but he's a sportsman. He really is. Like, his franchises in the US do well. The Nuggets, the Rams, like, they've won things. And he's put his money where his mouth is. Like, when he wanted to win, he's done it. So he can do that with Arsenal as well. He's not broke. Like, has money. And so it's just a matter of, do they actually want to do it or not? They have all the ability to make us into a juggernaut. It's just whether or not they want to do it. And so for me, this window is super important because I expect us to spend this amount of money on players because that's how it gets done. Now, the players have to perform, the manager has to perform, like, everybody has to step up, but you at least need to get your foot in the door. And you're not doing that if you're just going around buying this 20 million pound player here, 30 million pound. Like, there's always room for bargains, but like not every single time. Like, sometimes you have to go big.
Absolutely. I'm not saying, listen, if you could have in the last 2 or 3 years, because of their success, because of how well players that have wanted to move on have done, because of the brilliant development of their youth academy,
Yeah.
City have been able to create a very good net spend in the last 2 to 3 years. That's when you celebrate it. When you've had the success, you sell a big asset and continue to improve. Man United's net spend between sort of '06 and 2013 was amazing because of the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo. But that was something to celebrate because we'd won the most amount of league titles. We won a Champions League, FA Cups, no, not the FA Cups, sorry, League Cups in that time. So you're able to celebrate it. When you don't win anything, I've never understood celebrating good net spend, low wage bills comparatively. Go and spend the money. I always remember having an argument with my dad when Spurs nearly won the league a couple of times, in his words. And I said, wouldn't you just rather your team go out in the summer though and drop 250 million and go for it? He's like, no, I'd rather, bring a few more academy players through. It's like, yeah, that's why you're never going to win. That's like, that attitude will never win you the Premier League in 2000, in the era we're in, and in 2023. Viewers, we have shared a link if you want to phone in and join us and have your say on this deal. Let us know in the private chat on StreamYard what your take on it is. We can kind of get an order of people moving forward. There's some super chats here. The first one says, just the thoughts. Is Caicedo the only player around who does what he does? I think Arsenal might explore other options. What's your thought on that from Raul?
Yeah, he kind of is. It's, like, as you can look at other players, but what Caicedo offers you is, one, he's young, so you're future proofing your team for a long period of time. He's proven in the Premier League at a young age. He's excellent at what he does. He can get better, good on the ball, good defensively, and he can play like 3 positions. That type of player, you go out there and you give them 80 something million for that kind of guy. You do, because he's so valuable. And for me, Caicedo is just another Conte. He's the type of player that you miss out on and you're like, why didn't I spend the money? So no, there was never another Conte until now. Look how long it took. There's nobody else on the market like Caicedo. You have players that have bits and pieces similar to him, but no. The next time we see another Caicedo, they'll be coming through at Brighton. They're the only ones who seem to be able to find these guys.
No, I understand completely. I think he's phenomenal, and his versatility as well. We've seen him play 6, we've seen him play 8, we've seen him be advanced, we've seen him go into right back and hold his own. That versatility shows you the level of football player that he is. This super chat says, beating Bayern to a deal only took 10 years since they promised we'd compete with them, I suppose. Still need 2 to 3 more Rice level players, though. And I think you're right, Gunadan, but the transfer window has not even opened, and you're upon the edge of agreeing a deal with West Ham. And I think the beauty is Chelsea look nowhere near this deal. Spurs, no chance. Liverpool won't pay that amount of money. Man United could, but the takeover hasn't gone through, so there'll be no bid from Man United. You've almost got a free run at this player. He wants to join you, get it done, then you move on and you can put all your eggs into that Caicedo basket. I believe it's going to be tomorrow that Ilkay Gundogan makes his decision about where he wants to go. So maybe by this time tomorrow, this deal is agreed. Gundogan lets you know what he wants. Then you can go all your eggs in the basket of Caicedo and maybe another alternative if you can't bring in Ilkay Gundogan. So listen, in terms of starts to this window, impeccable for Arsenal. There's no doubt about it.
And the thing about it is, like, I know people are like, well, what's the difference between this and Mudryk? Why would you get excited? We never had a reliable source saying that we were close to agreeing the deal. It always was like us and Shakhtar were nowhere near it. And we never really got this close. It's different. Like, you can feel like this is going to get done. Where Mudryk, it was always kind of like, well, they're going to put in another bid. Maybe they won't. Still far away from the valuation, blah, blah, blah. And then Chelsea came in. I think this feels different. Or what do you think? Do you think it feels like the Mudryk situation, or you think it feels different?
I don't think it feels. Look, I get the similarities because the media are kind of hyping this up. Of course,
Yeah.
very close, but you're absolutely right. I don't remember a conversation where it's close to there being an agreement. And when you did get close to that with Shakhtar, Chelsea had poked their head through the door, and it almost felt like within a space of 6 hours, they'd got ahead of you almost from nowhere as your deal was kind of closing in, as it were. So I think there are some differences. Plus, this is also a deal where it feels like the personal terms were agreed as far back ago as February. So this isn't a new deal that Arsenal have just begun working on. It's been in the makings for a while now. All the reports have suggested that Arsenal was what Declan Rice has got his heart set upon. And yes, there was that coming from Mykhailo Mudryk, but as Ben Jacobs said on a number of occasions, he does want Arsenal, but he wanted the Premier League. So somebody else can turn his head. No one else is at a position yet where they can even turn. The only way it goes wrong from this point now for Arsenal is if Arsenal mess it up. So let's say they agree 100 million deal. And then at the 11th hour, Arsenal go, actually, 95, which teams have done before. And it prolongs and it protrudes, then it can go wrong. But I think Dean Jones called it bang on last Thursday. It'll happen quickly. Arsenal are in the driving seat. And the only way it goes wrong is if they mess it up. This here says that Rice is only a small part of the compensation for that kick in the arse City's Champions League win against Arsenal has given. Champions League win ahead of Arsenal has given. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That's another English team that's picked up a Champions League before you. That's got to be a frustrating thing for fans, but that should be used as a motivator, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it's nobody likes to watch other teams lift trophies. Like, I think that might have been maybe a big wake up call for some Arsenal fans. Like, I feel like we were kind of, or some people were in this like feeling like it's okay to just compete. There's nothing better than like winning a trophy, like nothing better than that. And so, watching West Ham do it, watching City do it, like you have to be like, I want that for my team, no matter what it is. And we definitely need to be winning big trophies. So the Premier League and the Champions League are kind of something that we need to be looking at. But even in like the short term, like the Carabao Cup, Manchester United made that look real good. So I'm just saying trophies are what we need to look at. Of course, we need a UCL, but yeah, like watching people lift up the trophy, like I want to see this team do that, which they haven't.
Yeah, 100%. Trophies are what it's all about at the end of the day. Bringing in Declan Rice, going for Caicedos and people of that ilk is only going to take Arsenal closer to achieving greatness again. And I'm not saying the Carabao Cup by itself is greatness, but it is. Slightly off topic, there is some more breaking news that's worth talking about while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Kylian mbappe has informed PSG today that he will not, under any circumstances, be activating the option in his contract for a further year until 2025, meaning he is in the last year of his contract now, as we speak. At the same time, media outlets are now saying PSG have now changed their tone in regards to Mbappe. Sal, everything is now open. So that's a very, very interesting piece of news because I think Mbappe, everybody inquires. Even teams that you don't think can pull it off. Arsenal's, I think on paper, nobody would say Arsenal could do it. On paper, nobody would think that Liverpool could do it. But I think that means every club in the world now that's got big money will inquire about a price, salaries, just to
I see where
see
you're
what.
going with this.
No, you know, but you have to inquire because imagine it's like with Saliba. We all kind of knew Saliba was agreeing a new deal, but I would be. Someone said to me, "You're not embarrassed that Man United tried to get him." No, I'm more embarrassed if my club didn't try to sign one of the best young centre backs in the world. So right now with this Mbappe news, I want Man United there right now, knocking on the door, speaking to his agent. What's going on? Any chance? What's the price? What would he need? You should want Arsenal, whether you lose out or not. Imagine not even trying to get Kylian Mbappe. It'll be a madness. So yeah, that's big news. I mean, add him to your attack, and maybe you will win the Prem. What do you reckon? Mbappe in an Arsenal shirt? Do you fancy that?
I mean, nobody's gonna say no to Mbappe. Let's be real. You know, but yeah, we don't have a chance in hell to get him. You know, but yeah, like that's really exciting news. We kind of
If
talked
some,
about this. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say if somebody gets a new owner from Qatar, maybe.
I knew where you were going with this, but you know my feelings. I think he's going to Real Madrid,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
you guys will stick with your, you know, Rashford. He's basically Mbappe. That's what I've been told. So
Not by
that's what I've
me.
been told.
I never said that. I didn't say it was Mbappe. That is a
Come on
scandalous
now.
lie. That's a scandalous lie. That's a scandalous lie. But no, listen, that'll be interesting news to see him
Yeah,
and see what happens. Mbappe wants the league rivalry versus Haaland. Oh, can you
I
imagine?
don't think he gives a shit about the Premier League.
I don't know, you know.
Straight
I
up.
don't know. I could sell it to him. Give me an hour with him and his reps. I could sell the Premier League to Mbappe.
How you
110% I
gonna
could sell
sell
it to him.
Luton Town to him? How you gonna sell going to Burnley? How you gonna sell?
Oh,
You don't
listen,
want to do that?
no disrespect to Spain. They have shitty parts of their country as well. Like no disrespect. Like I love England. I'm an Englishman. I'm proud of it. We've got shitholes. I'm pretty sure you're an American. Is there nasty parts of America? Rubbish places?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So it's not about Luton. It's about the prestige of the Premier League, biggest league in the world. More eyeballs on it than La Liga. More stars. The best managers. A bigger legacy can be built here. 10, 15 years ago, La Liga every day of the week. Here is where it's done at now. The Premier League, biggest, most prestigious, most famous league in the world. Get him here. Come on in, Batman. Plus, we've got the best food. It's England, the best food here, best travel, best accommodation, best beaches, best weather, everything about England. And I'm lying now. I'm lying now about the food.
Still
But
trying to sell it too hard, but I get what
we've
you're
got some,
saying.
we've got some good,
I
you know,
get what you're saying.
we've got some good restaurants in London. You'll be all right. Well, if you sign to Manchester, then we've got some good ones in Manchester. He's got to come to United. But
Yeah.
yes, we will see. He said best food. I do hope you realize Abscess. Abscess. That's a great name,
It's
Abscess.
my girl, man. That's my girl. I love her.
Oh,
Hi, Abscess.
she tunes into your channel.
Yeah.
Is her name Abscess?
Yeah.
Like an abscess you got on your tooth?
No.
Do you not
Shut
use that word?
up.
I don't know. Like we call an abscess like a sore in your mouth. Oh, I got an abscess. Got to go to dentist. Do you not use that word in
A
the States?
cavity?
No. An abscess an abscess is like a growth, like a
That's
pussy
not
growth.
that's not what her that's it's not the same.
Is it not?
Abscess, I'm sorry on his behalf. Rude.
Oh yeah, it's spelled different. Sorry, my fault. My apologies.
Please.
My apologies. It's spelled different. I thought it was spelled the same. Anyway, best taxes. Chike here says someone said no to wanting Neymar and shall remain nameless. Also, yeah, of course I don't want Neymar at Man United.
I'm talking about you.
Why would you want a player that's injury prone that plays only starts 16 games per season? Why? Why would you want that ever? Because also I just turned 24 over the weekend, and I'm thankful that I'm still here for you. Listen, glad you're here. Happy
happy
birthday for
birthday.
yourself. But why would you ever want Neymar at your club when he starts 16 games per season and wants 900 grand a week for the privilege of spending 2/3 of the year? But there we go. Ah, yeah, that's Ace. But see, that's my dyslexia. Abscess. I thought it was legitimately. I didn't know it was a real person. I thought it was somebody who just had like a funky name. I thought, why would you call yourself Abscess as a tag? I didn't realize it was spelled differently because I'm a bit of a moron. So I apologize profusely. Profusely. Oh, I think he's talking about Don Robbie on AFTV. Well, I back Don Robbie on that. I back him 110%. Someone here says you post the same title about Rice every day. I have never once posted a title about Declan Rice and Declan Rice to Arsenal, £100 million deal agreed with a question mark. It's the first time I've ever done that title with this thumbnail. So you're A Ash. Remember as well what we do as a fan channel. We react to the news. This is a news story that's been put out, so we react to it. If the headline is Declan Rice agrees personal terms by the new media outlet, I wouldn't write the title as Declan Rice went out for a walk with his girlfriend, because that wouldn't be accurate to what's being said. Mbappe idolizes CR7. He'll want to conquer the Premier League. I don't know, Ricky, but I hope. I do hope. Big Daddy Cronky, bring Mbappe to the carpet. Question for you. Why do they call it the carpet?
They just do. It's the carpet.
Why, though? There must be a reason.
I'll find out and I'll let you know.
You
I just
don't
call it
know.
the carpet.
You
because
don't know.
I don't know. The only time I ever heard it called the carpet was when I got on like Twitter, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's called the carpet."
There we go. Abscess here says I use Abscess because no one can pronounce my full name. I appreciate that. My thing is, yes, I got a lot of trolls that watch the Terrace that have weird names. Like, we have a guy that calls himself Maradon. I don't even know what it means. We've got some weird names
For
out
the
there.
guy bend over.
Yeah, we have a guy called I Cut My Farts. I just thought it was somebody like a weird thing. I apologize to you, young lady. Don Robbie can sponsor the Mbappe deal. He may very well want to. The pitch is white. Now I get what is it because it's such immaculate grass. It's like a carpet. Is that what it is? Like playing on carpet? I assume that, but I thought I'd ask. We're gonna bring another caller on. Elliot Roberts is here to have a little chat with us. What are you saying, Elliot?
I'm well, Terry. I'm well, Jess. How are you both doing? And may I say, you guys have done wonderful work in this space, and I give you kudos for what you've done and the research that you've done and how you announce announcements. Whenever you have an announcement, Terry, whenever you have an announcement, Jess, I am there to listen. So you have a fan in me, and I appreciate you taking me on to speak on this subject.
Not a problem at all. Thank you very much. And in terms of reaction, £100 million deal being closed in on. Some are saying now it has been agreed. The bids come in. What's your take, Elliot?
My take is it's the first step. It is what we wanted. It is an important step nonetheless because Declan Rice was wanted not only on British shores but also throughout Europe, and it is a great signing. Let's face facts. This guy was on the radar of many a club, and we are very lucky to if all is in if all is signed, if the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, it is a fantastic signing, and it is indeed a first step. So I am over the move. I'm thrilled with the move, and it shows that Arsenal are slowly but surely changing their tune in terms of transfers.
Completely agree. I think as a rival, it's frustrating to see Arsenal behave so well. It's annoying to see Arsenal behave like a legitimate big club. Not big but because of a fan base or big because of your stadium, but in the market, the way you're renewing these deals, because I still think 6-7 years ago, Saka's and Salibas of this world are going. Like, I think City or Chelsea swoop in now, get the deal done and take them away from you. So, yeah, as a rival, it's frustrating to see you actually behave properly.
Indeed, credit goes to Adu. Credit goes to Richard Garlick. It seems that Adu is the one who fries up the steaks, and Richard Garlick is the one who brings in the paraphernalia, the wine, and the papers and the signatures, all said and done. And it's a fantastic scene. It's a wonderful party. You should join us here. It's great out at the backyard barbecue that is Arsenal Football Club.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you. I love my team. But Elliot, thank you very much, my friend, for coming on the show and having your say, brother.
Cheers, Derek.
Take care, mate. Thank you very much.
Eddie was getting cooked today because nothing was happening. Can you believe that? Like, I'm all for like one of my favorite sports is talking about Edu. Like, it's one of my favorite sports, but there's nothing to cook him about today. And now there's a lot of people that are probably looking at the tweets that they put out earlier and are like, what the hell? Of course he was working on the deal. And like these big deals are weird because it's almost like it's backwards in a way. Like they agree the fee, or like Arsenal always do this. They agree the fee and then they put the bid in. They don't like to do the bid and then it's rejected, bid and then it's rejected, bid and then it's rejected. They want the fee settled so that they put it in one time and then it's done. Like, I don't know why people thought that they would hear the bid is going in, now it's rejected, the bid is going out. It's too big of a deal to do that. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I couldn't understand the outrage from some gooners. I understand being skeptical whether you get it done, but we haven't acted quick enough. Rice was only in a final 4 or 5 nights ago. He then has a couple of days. The club has a couple of days to party and celebrate. Then you start the situation. It was always going to start when it has done. Some more news on the Mbappe thing. Fabrizio has just confirmed PSG will not let Mbappe leave for free. He either renews this summer or they sell. So it looks like Mbappe is finally going to go and play in a proper league and create a proper legacy at club level, because he's got an amazing legacy at world level in the World Cup. Brilliant in the Champions League, but he hasn't won it yet. But he's done nothing at league level because he hasn't done it in one of the top 4 leagues. So listen, I'm glad for Mbappe because he's got to get into one of those big leagues. He'll kill it in those leagues, but you have to do it. It's as simple as that.
I'm going to say this right now. Like, the last thing I want is for Mbappe to go to Real Madrid and for us to get them in the Champions League, because I'm not trying to face that team. I am not trying to face that team. We were talking about it the other day. That is the one team that I think is doing like a very quick and brutal rebuild that is going to like really like, they weren't amazing. Like, they were good this season, but they're taking it very serious. Like, if they get Mbappe,
they are. If they get Mbappe with Jude Bellingham and you throw in the link to Alphonso Davies, it isn't just the footballing ability of those three. It's the speed. It's greasy fast, lightning quick speed added to the quality. It adds youthful exuberance to their team. They were already good enough to nearly make another Champions League final. You throw those 3 bits of talent into this team, up a notch, which is why I said to people, as good as City beating them was, this wasn't a vintage world-class Real Madrid team. It's a very good one, not a world-class one. And you know that by these 2 or 3 players, they can add the next level that they can go to. So yeah, very interesting indeed. There also some more news has just come out from Qatar that this says, and I want to read this. This says, I'm not going to butcher these names. Mr. Fayed Al Amandi, managing director of the Qatari, and then the rest of the words are in, I think, Arabic. I can't read the newspaper, which is owned by Sheikh Jazim and his father. One of the main backers behind the acquisition of Manchester United, confirms the existence of news of the approaching success of the Qatari takeover of the club. That's coming from some Middle East outlets right now as well, that Man United may be getting. Imagine this: Mbappe puts a transfer request in. Then the Qataris announce they're getting Man United. Then we buy him. Oh, it'd be beautiful. It's not going to happen. I'm dreaming now. I'm dreaming. Let's have a look at some more super chats have come. Oh, no. I think we've done all these super chats. No, we've done that one. We've done Ricky's. We've done Chike's. I think we've done all them super chats. Oh, no. Dyke here says, Mbappe to Chelsea. I will be there no matter what.
I can't, you know what? I can't even imagine him at Chelsea. Like, I can only imagine him at Real Madrid for some reason.
Or Man United. One of them. Yeah.
Maybe Man United.
Do you know what's interesting for me though? When I saw City sign Haaland, it was kind of we've signed big players in England before, but when they signed Haaland would have been a player 10 years ago that definitely went to Real or Barca.
Yeah,
I would love. I don't want. It's as a Man United fan, I want to be the club to get him. But there's a part of me that would love a Premier League club to get Mbappe, because I almost think it would be anyone who still debates which league is bigger and better. If Mbappe came to England, it would end that debate. Because then the best 2 attackers in the world would be here, where we spent 15 years with the best 2 attackers in the world in La Liga. I'd love it. But at the same time, if it isn't at Man United, I don't want that guy here, because we've already got one alien freak.
I just feel like Man United, it would be his only option in the Premier League. It's the only place that I could see him going.
I'd love him.
I just don't. I don't really see him anywhere else, to be honest. So Real Madrid, get on the phone and make it happen because I'm not trying to see that at all.
I hear you on that there. Any cherry smoking Weetabix? Let's just call having a bit of a laugh. Some of you do have a sense of humor bypass. I do believe that some of you, like maybe you weren't born with it. I don't know. It got taken out or something like that. But there we go. Just going to look here at some of the other sort of tweets that are coming in. We obviously tweeted out the news as well as talking about it. Some of the comments on socials about this say, we don't get, that doesn't make any sense. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I don't see anything special with this Rice guy.
You know what's funny? A lot of them would see something special in him if he was going somewhere else. Like, I just feel like we love to just wallow in it. He's a really good player. Like, I don't know how you don't see it. I mean, it's not like fancy or anything like that. But I just don't know how you can't see it. It makes so much sense. And you can't look at our midfield and then watch him and don't think that.
I'm going to say this, by the way, Paul Harper, I kind of know your plan. So as I see, it's double, it's layered. It's layered. The comedy's layered here, right? What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this with Declan Rice, and I know it's going to be controversial. I also think Declan Rice would be rated more if he wasn't British. I'm going to say it bluntly. This man was French.
Declan Ricinho.
Yeah, if he was French, if he was Spanish, if he was South Korean, if he was from another part of the world, I think there is I do get it. English players get a lot of attention, a lot of hype, and a lot of conversations about them. Sometimes even when there's better players than them around.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes, and I think I see it. I got a friend who does it. One of my best friends kind of hates the English hype, and I'm like, why? Because every time I put Match of the Day on, they're talking about English players. Every time I watch Sky, they'll always do 20 minutes on an English player and 5 minutes on my favorite player that's from Colombia, as an example. It's like, bro, but that's because there's a national interest in the development of our players for our national team. Stop deeping it so much, because I guarantee if you watch South Korean coverage of the Premier League, I bet they spend more time talking about Son than anybody else. I bet in Japan, they speak a lot of time talking about Tomiyasu. I bet there's a lot of time speaking about Matoma. It's just normal. So I do think there's an element of some people have got like an anti-British bias. I get it. Some people, as you say, if he was going somewhere else, like, oh, that plate of food looks better than my plate of food. But overall, Rice is top quality for me.
But don't you also think the English thing is kind of like, what I don't understand about it is how can a team get to what? You guys got to the semifinals of the World Cup, right? And you also got to the final of the Euros. How can that, if they're not good, how do they go to these tournaments and get far in them? I just don't understand. Like, there's clearly talent there. It's not fancy all the time, but those guys are talented. I just don't see how people don't see it, because it's clear that there's talent there.
Someone here puts a comment and says, is Declan Rice world class? Great question. I think the talent is world class, but you're never going to prove it playing at West Ham. You need to be in a team where the pressure's higher. You need to be in a team, by the way, where you're in title races and fighting for trophies. You need to play in the Champions League as well, in my opinion. And then you've got to deliver. But if he delivers and leads for Arsenal, as he has done for West Ham, and he ups the level and he moves that envelope and he raises that ceiling, then I do think there's a talk about him being world class. Now, some people view world class different. Some people will never say a player is world class unless the way they touch and move and caress the ball looks like Zidane. So for them, it's if you don't have outstanding skills and techniques around it, so you don't look a certain way, your outputs, your performance, your leadership, your availability, your consistency matters not, because you don't have the visual aesthetics that they consider to be a world-class attribute. That's where you get in debates around what do you consider to be world-class. But for me, I think Declan Rice can, and maybe already is, one of the best DMs in the world and could play for any. I think he could walk and play. I think he could play for any team in the world right now, and their levels as a team wouldn't drop if he was in it. I believe he's that good.
I mean, Arsenal have probably 4 or 5 players that are on the cusp of being world class. And the reason why I say that is just because they're not playing in the Champions League. They're not playing in the Champions League. And for me, like you guys know, like we've spoken about Kane. I think Kane is world class despite not winning anything. So for me, it's not always about winning things. Sometimes you're in a team that doesn't. It's about, are you putting up the numbers and are you like besting your position? The only way we know that is if you're playing against the best, right? So I think, yeah, there's some players like Martinelli, Saka, Saliba, Odegaard. And if you add Declan Rice to that, if they perform at the top level, they definitely will be considered world class, so the talent is there, but, there's still a step to go, I would say, like you said, basically.
Yeah, I feel like someone here says Rodri clear. I do think Rodri's better than him.
Hell yeah, he's clear.
Rodri's clear, but that doesn't that doesn't debunk what I said. If Rodri retires today and Declan Rice goes to City, I don't think you'd see City's levels drop exponentially. I don't think they would. Oh wow, the midfield's now weak. I think he'd maintain you, even though I think Rodri is better. However, you put Declan Rice with a top manager in a better team for 2 or 3 years, I think he can show even greater levels than what we're seeing right now. So I get you. Jess, they lost to poor. Sorry, Jess, they lost to poor shop in London in the Euros. They lost to poor shop. I don't know what that means.
Honestly, you guys, like, nobody can convince me that English players are like super overhyped because I look at them and I see so much talent there. The pipeline is insane. It's just it's not fancy, but the players are good, And I still think that if you have a talented pool of players if they're getting really far in these competitions and playing well, and there's tons of depth. Like,
yeah, no, I agree. I think that look, sometimes I think English players, some people think they're better than they are, and I do get the criticism, but I think you've got to treat all of these things individually. And
yeah,
just because
don't
Maguire
lump
was
them
overhyped
in.
doesn't mean, yeah, I mean, lumping people together based on their nationality. I was brought up to say that was bigoted. So I don't like it. It's just if Man United sign a player that's Brazilian and not very good, doesn't mean I'm going to suddenly hate all Brazilian football players. It's kind of a weird way to sort of look at the world, personally. Ricky here says, if Pepe was worth 72 million in 2019, Rice surely 100 million now. I mean, by that logic, yeah.
I don't know why people are shaking their head at the price. I don't understand that. You're gonna have like the baseline like center midfielders, the Edson Alvarez's, like these types of guys, Paulinha. These guys, if they're sold, they're gonna be 50, 60 million. 50, 60 million. Declan Rice has a higher ceiling. He's younger than them. He's already better than them right now. And he's an all-around footballer. Like, he can do more than them. He's not just your standard DM. Of course he's worth 100 million. Those types of players that kind of can do it all are worth that. Multiple positions, can do it all. Like Enzo Fernandez, like, I know we make fun of him and like, yeah, he's playing for Chelsea, a bad Chelsea team. You damn Skippy, he was worth over 100 million because he can do everything and he's young. Like, those players are going to cost a lot. So get over it.
Do you think Xavi, Caicedo, Rice, Charisma, and Tony would be a great window for us?
Yeah, of course it would be. I said earlier that my ideal window would be Xavi Simons, Caicedo, Rice, and Cancelo. If you gave me that, I'd be like, let's go. We're good to go. I know some people are dead set on us getting like a striker. I'm not necessarily in that camp, but yeah, that's a great window.
Yeah. Listen, it's when I read Xavi for a minute, I just had to realize what Xavi you were talking about. just for a moment, I was like, Xavi's. Oh right, yes, the young lad. Yeah, look, that'd be an impeccable window for Arsenal. There's no doubt. This is what I mean by, if you're still watching Abscess, this is what I mean. This is Rob the Knob, who says
Nice.
Arsenal should go for Mbappe. Won't get him, but put 150 million bid in. We have a big future. No need to hide away from the best. one opportunity to get him. Would you worry about the PR of being rejected? Do you think if he's available, do you think you should bid for him, irrespective of whether you get him or not?
Yeah. What's gonna happen? Like, you get rejected and then what? It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You don't try, you're not ambitious enough. You try and get rejected, people are embarrassed. Like, what are you gonna do? You could try, we're not getting him, but you can try, you get rejected, you get laughed at, and you move on. Like, at
Yeah,
some
I
point,
think
like Arsenal
so.
do. I think there's times where we see reports where Arsenal were in for players that sometimes you're like even when I look at the Gundogan thing, we're obviously not going to be his number one choice. But I want to see Arsenal going after those types of players because eventually we'll get them. But you have to try. Like, you have to show what your ambition is. You know.
Yeah, 110%. You simply have to. You can't not. Yeah, it's 110% got to be done. 110% has got to be done in every single way, shape, or form. And I think the super chat pulls on something very, very important. He says here, one opportunity to get him. And when it comes to Mbappe, this is true because he's not. I mean, he ain't old, but he isn't young. I'm just checking his age now. Actually, is he 24 now? I want to say 24. 24. He's going to turn 25 when this season he turns 25. This is the last chance to ever sign him because whoever he goes to, he's going to be on a 6-year deal. And by the time that 6-year deal ends, he's going to be 31. And you might get him then, but you're never going to get his best years. He isn't like he's 18 anymore and he can join whoever. We might be able to get him off the next team he goes to. This is it. So I think if you're Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, all of you, because of the commercial value of this player as well, you're going to recoup a lot of this money because more sponsors will come forward. There's ways of he's so valuable with Messi and Ronaldo gone that all those fans that love those guys over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see them start cottoning on to other players because those guys are out of the picture now. No one's tuning in to watch, the Saudi leagues and the Hamburger League. No one's doing that, right? At the end of the day. So Mbappe is going to be worth a lot of money commercially. Even if you fail, you've got to bid for him. 110%. I could not agree with you more. You absolutely fundamentally have to go and try and do that. You have to try and win that, essentially win that signature, as they would say. But there we go. Thierry Henry was Thierry Henry's your only chance. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could get into Henry's ear and get him to chat to him.
We need any player that every French player that's ever played for us needs to go and try to make that happen.
Yeah, we'll be on
That
the
French
phone.
connection is weak these days, though. It's
I
not
know,
really what it used to be.
No, I know it's fallen off.
It really
Is we still need so much more to challenge on all three fronts: three midfielders, right back, left back, centre back, right wing, striker to even match City. Do you think you need that much to match City?
No, I think people are overreacting. I think you watch some of our players that maybe didn't play well at the end of the season. It's like, well, we have to bin them off. Like, we scored more than enough goals to win the league. We couldn't defend. I think we need two midfielders. Ben White is a natural center back. You don't need to buy another one. Buy a right back. Buy a top right back, and then that solves that issue. You don't need another left back. We have three players that can play at left back. You don't need another left back. Basically, you're saying we need a whole new team. Like, I don't believe that. You need 3-4 top signings. That's it. You're done.
Yeah,
And
I
really,
agree.
I think it's more about mentality too. Like, I think Arsenal's mentality was probably 60% of the reason why we didn't win the league. I don't think it was so much a quality issue. I think really what it came down to was the pressure, you know? So, yeah, 3 or 4 top signings. We don't need a whole new team. Like,
Yeah, I don't think you need a whole new team. I think you had Caicedo, Gundogan, Rice, Castagna, and another forward like an Ivan Toney. I know he can't play now, but I'm saying that level of player, and you're already title contenders. That amount of players could easily accumulate you an extra 10, 12 points next season and enable you to rotate well in the other competitions as well. I absolutely agree. Maradona, maybe it's a Maradona thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. Just say Maradona then. Hashtag Wenger knows. He used to. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. Every Arsenal fan wanting a player like they are playing FIFA career mode. I think League Gunner's influence is plaguing these deluded fans. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Lee, he's on tomorrow, 3:30. Me and Lee.
I agree.
Shush. Winter Surfer's here with us now. What you saying, brother?
Yeah, all good. All good. Mbappe news. They're making everyone go crazy. It's all good. I'm with you, Terry. Even if we're not going to get him, I'll make a bid. I put in a bid. I go, slap it down. Even if I know I'm not going to get him, I go like that. Here's our offer. Even if we're out of Europe, here's it. You are the main guy, like that. I put you will be the main guy. I cater to his ego, stuff like that. People go, he's a bad teammate, but I never really see that when he plays for France. You know what I mean? I always see him as a very good teammate, a lead in the line and everything like that.
Mm.
I do believe PSG have allowed him too much though leeway, and that's probably. But then that's on PSG, right? PSG have done that. So I agree with you. I slapped down 200 million. I said take it or leave it right now. I slap it down.
Wait, listen, rename the stadium after him, the streets after him. Let him whatever.
Rename Chelsea after him. I don't care. Rename it. Put it in Mbappe FC if you want.
I completely agree. In terms of Arsenal, £100 million deal, close to being agreed with West Ham for Declan Rice. What do you make of that deal, mate?
He's a brilliant player. Without doing any scouting, he's one of a few in those positions at the moment. It's like goalkeepers. There's very few at the moment, and that's the going rate. You add Premier League tax, you add English tax, you add he just won a trophy tax as well. He's a captain, he's a captain leader tax, stuff like that. He is West Ham tax. And 100 million is what? Is it straight up cash or is it add-ons? Is it like 90 million plus add-ons to get it over? So West Ham could say, yeah, we sold our player for 100 million, stuff like that. You know, it's an excellent signing. I am very surprised not more English teams are in for him. Like for instance, me, it was always the price. But if the club then goes for him, I don't really care about the price if they want the player. He's an excellent player, and I think he's only going to get better. I was fearing that maybe City would go in for him, like right at the end, especially with like their midfield issues and stuff like that, that would potentially leave them and stuff. But for Arsenal, it's a great signing. I think he's an upgrade on both Partey and Xhaka. He's a definite upgrade, and yeah, it's an excellent signing.
It genuinely is, and I mean Steinberg has also reported at the same time in the same article that Man United looked at signing Declan Rice, but essentially Arsenal were so close that Man United just decided there's no point. But we knew this anyway because he'd agreed those terms in February, and there were such strong rumors and such strong stories that you felt it was journalists typically don't go out on a limb. The whole he's agreed, he's done this, he's done the other. And it was from some real credible people as well, including the likes of, Ben Jacobs and Ornstein and many others. Have all kind of alluded to it. And when everybody's kind of singing off the same hymn sheet, there has to be an element of truth. There has to be. But
yeah, I mean, there's been no one else. There's been, like you said, there's little rumors here and then other clubs maybe joining that Man United, but there's been no real concrete stuff. It's just been Arsenal. And when that happens, even though they've not even signed for it, the player still probably thinks a bit of loyalty to the club that's actually shown him more interest and stuff like that. Plus, I know what I said about City coming in, but I think maybe that to stay in London, I mean, his wife just had the baby and stuff like that, so maybe not uprooting early part. It's like settle down, and yeah, it's a good move. It's a very good move on both sides.
Yeah.
I knew it was over when he went to Jesus' birthday party. He didn't have no business there.
Yeah,
I was like, why are you there?
And that was months ago. Ricky S says being rejected by Mbappe is so much better than Mudryk. Of course it is. There's no.
Of course it is. 100%.
It's like this, right? It's like if you're a young man and you're at a party sometime and Beyonce's there and she's been single for a while.
Beyonce. It's always Beyonce. It's never anyone else.
I just tell you what it is. A lot of people say that Beyonce doesn't have a lot of sex appeal, and I don't understand it. They say Rihanna's better, and I disagree.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. You're just so against. Like, Beyonce does not have sex appeal.
She does.
No, she doesn't. Beyonce is powerful. Like, she's powerful.
I find power sexy. Talented. That's the thing, though. I think power is attractive. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay. We'll agree to
Maybe.
disagree on that one.
Yeah, but the point is, you're a young man, you're out, and I'm going to change it for you two then. You're at a bar, and Rihanna's there, and she's been single a while, and you're like, I may never, ever be in front of her ever again in this scenario. You got to take a shot. Not taking the shot is worse than her saying, get the fuck out of here. Do you know what I'm saying? You got to take a shot. You never quite know. But there we go. Terry has his preference. I do have my preferences. But no, listen, it is what it is. I've got too much respect for Jay-Z anyway to move towards his woman. So don't worry, Jay-Z. I'm not going to do that. And Jess, of course, as well. But yeah, too much love for Jay-Z. So I wouldn't do it to you, brother. I wouldn't do it to you. Not that it would matter. Can you imagine? Someone's actually going to think I'm being serious right now. Again, that is called sarcasm for anybody that lacks.
It's a bit you need to have like the smiley emoji when you say it after to appear on the screen, so they know it's like because otherwise they don't. So it's like
a little disclaimer. Terry is now joking, ladies and gentlemen. Do not take it seriously.
Sarcasm, flashes.
Someone here says Kelly Rowland underrated.
Very.
Yeah, Kelly Rowland's all right as well, you know. Kelly Rowland, she's all right.
She was out of the group. She was the one, the beautiful one. She was the beautiful one.
She was second. I don't even know that. Was that one called Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I knew that. Michelle was all right. For me, it was Beyonce, Kelly, Shell. That order.
Anybody who knows. Kelly, top tier.
Yeah, like
vote in the comments.
Nice. Let us know. Not that I'm objectifying women, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just talking about their looks. Do you know what I'm saying? Who's nice? Who's nice in your opinion then? Beyonce or Scherzinger?
In terms of what?
The looks, attractiveness, sex appeal, in your opinion.
Oh, loosen up my buttons, babe. Maybe a Scherzinger. It might be.
Scherzinger's all right, you know. She's got a British boyfriend as well, you know. The ex-rugby player. Nice looking guy. Tom, I think his name is.
She hasn't aged a day either.
No, she still looks. She could still be a pussycat though. 100%.
I could see you like in front of your TV, like watching that video. Like,
no, like it just.
If I ever get my shot, I'm taking it.
Listen. There's many male pop stars that women loved when they were younger, and there's some female pop stars I watched as a kid and went, "Oh, look, she's nice." Yeah, it's part and parcel. Nothing wrong with finding people attractive. As someone says, Alicia Keys. Yeah, Alicia Keys.
This conversation can go so long.
Alicia Keys is very, very nice. There's no doubt. This here says Jess is a Beyonce hater. Yeah, she threw like if I put Beyonce on the house, the plugs get cut off. I'm not allowed it on. That's a joke. It's not true. Listen, the posters. I had football posters. I didn't have singers on my wall. Listen, everyone, hit the like button before you leave. Please subscribe to the Football Terrace. To round up the news tonight, Arsenal are close to agreeing a £100 million deal for Declan Rice. I was about to sit down and chill for the evening and watch a bit of Walking Dead, but we're back live again. We're back in the morning, so make sure you're tuning in. We've got Lee Gunner on the show tomorrow at 3:30. Ben Jacobs in the morning at 11 a.m. as well. So until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.